Hi everyone, and welcome back to another chapter of From Ashes to a New Beginning, written by yours truly, Stacey Holt. Fan art was made by Pastelkittygoreart on Instagram, otherwise known as Maddie Kitty 1997 on DeviantArt. Everyone should go check out her links below. As for my voice actors, Adrien and Cat Noir will be voiced by Darkstorm009. I'll be voicing Marinette, Ladybug, and the Narrator as usual. TitaniumKitten will be voicing Plag and Luka. And finally, Etsuko will be voicing Tikki. If you'd like to support me, you can always like, subscribe, and comment. Also, if you'd like to support my voice actors, why not check out their links below? They have some really cool stuff in their links. So why not check it out? Anyways, back to the story. Chapter 37, Luka. Adrien let go of Marinette and stood up. He crawled onto the bed and pulled the blankets over top of him, smiling at her. Marinette seemed nervous around him still, though he couldn't blame her. It was like she was just starting to date him. It was cute. She was curled up with the blanket as well, but they each sat about a pillow and a half length away from one another, for Marinette's sake. Yes, she knew she had feelings for him, but remembering all those feelings and emotions was a little overwhelming.
Would you like me to start from the beginning and see if anything sparks a memory?
Adrien asked. I would like that a lot, Marinette smiled. Adrien smiled and clicked on their favorite show that they had already seen to play in the background to hopefully also spark a memory or two, but started to explain their relationship with one another, excluding him being Cat Noir and her being Ladybug parts. It was a little difficult at times, but he managed to tell her enough. They found out that she remembered Alia and Nino, though she had no clue about who Carapace and Rena Rouge was. She knew who her parents were, which was a relief. She had forgotten that Chloe was Queen Bee, but still remembered who Chloe was. She didn't know who Ladybug was, or Cat Noir. She also didn't know who Adrien or Gabriel was. He assumed if she didn't learn of his identity, him and his family wouldn't have been wiped from her memory, because he was Cat Noir. The Guardian's amnesia must have erased Adrien as well. The most bizarre part was that she also couldn't remember Luka either. She could remember certain people, but others she couldn't. Though Adrien wasn't complaining about her forgetting who Luka was. They talked about their relationship and things from high school to help her remember that night. Eventually, Marinette was comfortable enough around Adrien that they both closed the pillow length between them and sat closer together. Adrien was happy that she was beginning to be more comfortable around him, and she was so glad he was so open and nice to her. She really felt like she could trust him. As they were talking about their past and watching their show, Marinette drifted off to sleep. She had fallen asleep leaning against his shoulder watching their show and talking about their relationship amongst other things. Adrien picked up the TV remote and turned the TV off. Adrien turned his head toward Marinette, who was asleep on his shoulder. He smiled and gently laid her down on her side of the bed and covered her up. After he turned the lights off and made sure she was asleep, he walked into the bathroom and locked the door behind him. Adrien sighed, closing his eyes as he leaned his head against the door. He slid down to the floor until he was sitting. He wrapped his arms around his knees and let out a sigh.
What's wrong, kid? Aren't you happy?
Plag asked, floating out of his pocket.
I am. It's just...
Adrien began.
It'll be okay, Adrien. You're the new guardian.
Tikki smiled, floating out from his jacket as well, floating beside Plag.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm the guardian. I'm going to forget everything just like Marinette did someday. What if I end up not being able to remember, like, her?
Adrien frowned.
You shouldn't worry about that now. What you should be doing now is resting. Aren't Marinette's parents leaving in a couple of days?
Tikki asked.
Yeah, they are. Why?
Adrien asked.
Why not talk to Marinette make sure she's still comfortable with staying. This is probably still overwhelming for her. She really wanted to stay because of you and her friends.
Tikki smiled.
Ew, gross.
Plag made a sour face. Adrien and Tikki looked at Plag and rolled their eyes.
Wait, what if she doesn't want to stay anymore? Yeah, I explained everything, but she doesn't remember everything and feel everything. If she stayed because she loved me, and she doesn't love me right now, what's stopping her from leaving?
Adrien said with a worried face.
Kid, she loves you. She let you kiss her tonight.
Plag smirked, wiggling his eyebrows.
That is true. She did let you kiss her, though I wouldn't vote out the move to the US just yet. Her parents are leaving soon. You need to get her to remember as much as possible until their flight.
Tikki said, determined.
Why can't I tell her that I'm Cat Noir and she's Ladybug? That might spark more memories.
Adrien suggested.
I wouldn't advise that. You might overwhelm her too much. I have full faith in you that you can do this without Cat Noir and Ladybug's help. She loves Adrien too.
Tikki smiled.
You're right. I can't do that.
Adrien said, clenching his fists with determination.
Yeah, you can do it, Adrien.
Tikki smiled. Just as Adrien and Tikki were getting each other hyped up for their plan to get Marinette to stay in Paris for good, while Plag floated around them watching, silently judging them, Adrien felt his phone vibrate.
Huh?
Adrien said, pulling out his phone to see Luka had texted him a couple of times.
Adrien, we need to talk. I just saw on the news that Hawkmoth and Mayura were seen getting away. What happened up there? Adrien? What's going on? We need to talk. ASAP.
Adrien looked down at his phone at all of the text messages that had gone through and saw that he must have not paid attention to them due to all the interesting events that occurred that evening. Why was Luka so worried about him? Also, how did he know he was on the rooftop? Did he really assume he went that far up there to get Marinette and save her?
Hey, sorry, I just checked my phone. What's up?
We need to talk about what I saw. We need to meet ASAP.
Saw? What do you mean?
I'll explain when we meet up. When can you meet me?
I'm gonna be hanging out with Marinette these next couple of days. So maybe like Wednesday or Thursday? Is that cool?
Adrien, this is urgent.
Alright. When would you like to meet up then?
Now.
Now? Like, right now? It's 2:32 a.m.
You met with Kagami? You can meet with me. Meet me in the park, near your house.
I'll be there in 5.
Adrien sighed, staring at his phone as Tikki and Plag looked at him with worried expressions. Adrien unclicked the door and peeked into the bedroom, seeing Marinette asleep on his bed. He stood up and walked into the bedroom and laid a piece of paper beside her hand that rested on the blanket near her face and walked back inside the bathroom. Adrien transformed and jumped out of the window, rushing to the park as fast as he could. What could Luka be wanting to talk about that was so urgent that he needed to talk to him this soon? Cat sat on a rooftop until he saw Luka sit down on a park bench waiting for him. He jumped down and de-transformed where he couldn't see him. Adrien walked over to Luka and sat down beside him, though Luka wasn't his happy self. This was strange.
What's up, Luka?
Adrien asked, confused, seeing Luka look at him quietly.
When Kagami got akumatized, I followed you out of the door. You were going to follow Marinette. You ran the opposite direction.
Luka said. That's right. He did run in the opposite direction. How far did he follow him? This could be bad. What could he tell him now? He couldn't tell him it was because he was Cat Noir. He's the guardian. He is all Paris has now. Marinette is starting to remember. He can't let her down.
Luka, I was going to, but I figured I would go get the police since Ladybug and Cat Noir hadn't shown up yet. I didn't make it to the rooftop to get Marinette back.
Adrien said with a frown, hoping that was enough to appease him.
I know why you're lying, but what happened to Marinette? Is she okay? At least tell me that.
Luka said, staring at Adrien with a serious glare.
Lying? I'm not lying.
Adrien said.
Ugh, cut the crap, Agrest. I saw you. I ran after you left. I saw you run into an alley, the opposite way of Marinette and Kagami. You transformed into Cat Noir.
Luka said, staring into Adrien's now surprised eyes. Adrien held his gaze at Luka and took a sharp breath in. Adrien started to laugh and put his hand on Luka's shoulder. He had to lie. He had to lie so this didn't go downhill. This was bad. This was so bad.
I didn't take you for a joker, Luka. That's really funny. Me? Cat Noir?
Adrien laughed.
I'm being serious, Adrien. Stop the act. Tell me what happened.
Luka said, knocking Adrien's hand off of his shoulder.
Marinette is fine. I guess the cat's really out of the bag, huh?
Adrien sighed.
Who all have you told?
No one.
Luka replied.
Who are you going to tell?
Adrien corrected his sentence.
I'm not gonna tell anyone. I want you to be honest with me. What happened up there?
Luka asked. Adrien sighed and leaned back on the park bench, looking up at the moon. He was now the guardian, and Luka knows his identity. Again, this was bad. He had no one to pass the guardianship onto. That means if Luka were to reveal his identity, he would have to pass it on to someone, and he would lose all of his memories. How much should he tell him? Marinette was regaining her memories back, so he should probably leave out the part that Marinette was Ladybug. Wait, Marinette couldn't be Ladybug anymore. Hawkmoth knows her identity. Even if she were to regain her memories back and knew everything, if she were to transform as Ladybug again, Hawkmoth would surely go after her family. He needed to find another Ladybug, and fast. If anything, he could always be Mr. Bug to save the day. He would figure out which Miraculous Marinette could use permanently. Right now, Luka was the issue.
Marinette was Ladybug.
Adrien said, turning his head to look at Luka.
Wait, what?
Luka said wide-eyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, you can go check out some of my other videos, like Thunderstorms, which is Season 1, Downpour, which is Season 2 of Thunderstorms, The Butterfly That Brought Us Together, and so on. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!